In the Impact segment tonight, how hard should the GOP attack Obamacare? And what about the rest of the president's agenda? Moderates like Christie seem to suggest Obama's critics should just lighten up.
We're 3 years away from the presidential election. You know, I mean, and in this sense, I feel badly for President Obama. They just won a year ago. And everybody's like, so who's next? You know, I mean, there is work to be done in this country. And as we shove him out the door, we minimize his ability to be an effective executive. And we shouldn't do that.
But there's another GOP strategy making the rounds, which is basically to keep highlighting all of the problems of Obamacare. Joining me now from Nashville is Chip Saltzman, a Republican strategist. Okay, Chip, interesting comments from Christie, who's making a lot of news lately over at the Republican Governors Association meeting and earlier this week in New York. And he empathizes, he said, with President Obama because, you know, his executive authority is basically being undermined, and Republicans shouldn't do that. What's your reaction there?
I'm ready for the who's next conversation. I mean, the thing is, Barack Obama has failed this country. He's had a bad 5 years, and I think that's why most of the people are ready for who next. His approval ratings are dismal. Disapproves over 40% now, and I mean over 50%. I get where Christie's coming. He just got reelected. He's starting to turn into a lame duck, so maybe he's just foreshadowing a little bit.
Well, here's my thought on this. Look, the president has made his bed with Obamacare. He bet the political farm on Obamacare. All his political capital was poured into it, and it's failing. It's failing the people. Yeah. It's failing the middle class, failing small business owners, failing. So well, I feel empathetic to him. I feel empathetic for the people. And maybe next year it'll be as many as 100 million people who have their policies canceled. And so to say that we're empathetic and we shouldn't try to, you know, undermine his executive authority, I want Republicans to be stopping more damage that might be done to the country. So I want them to stop the exercise of that type of executive authority. Thank you very much.
Well, and I think he's doing a great job on his own. Barack Obama is undermining his own authority every day with all these health care conferences, saying we're going to fix this in 2 weeks. It's going to be ready to go. You're not going to lose your coverage. Barack Obama is doing a great job. We just need to let him be himself.
So when you say that, you seem to be of the mindset that any more hearings on Capitol Hill, they could get excessive. People could get tired of kind of a Republican drumbeat, and I'm somewhat sympathetic to that. But at the same time, there are real horror stories out there that must be highlighted. The media is highlighting them for now. We don't know how long that will go on for, right? So Republicans, you know, look like they're dancing on the grave of Obamacare, but I think educating the public by explaining just what's going to happen and continuing to do that, I think that's a public service. I'm not sure the retreat and sit back, rest on your laurels deal is all that good either.
Education good, grandstanding bad. What we've seen is when Benghazi came up and IRS, the story became about the hearings. It became about how aggressive the Republicans were, and we lost the story. When we shut down the government, we lost the ability to tell the story of Obamacare website at first because the whole story was the website. And my advice to the Republicans in Washington right now, remember two things. One, your approval rating is lower than Obama's, and tread smartly. And keep your hearings focused, talk about the things that matter, bring up the important things, push the administration on doing the right thing. But when your opponent is in a circular firing squad shooting each other, don't jump in the middle.
Yeah, but Chip, do you see how Nancy Pelosi out yesterday? She's like, we're going to be running on Obamacare. I'm proud to be running on Obamacare. So she's not going anywhere on Obamacare. I mean, I don't think there's a circular firing squad yet. I mean, there's grousing, there are complaints, but they haven't thrown Obama under the bus yet. But I agree with you. If there's an ability to screw things up, Republicans could certainly do that. So I think they shouldn't go overboard on this. But the education needs to be done, and there will come a time where the media, perhaps, they move on from this story. And that's when Republicans need to step forward. Chip, thanks so much. We love seeing you. And
yes,
directly
ma'am.
ahead.